Vibe check car review. Here in DC for a couple days, and I decided to rent this dope CT4V Blackwing. Amazing car. I kind of had high expectations because all of the journalists love this car, and then I drove a G80 a few months back. I loved that, so I just thought this would be the perfect car to review at this point in time. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for joining in, and yeah, let's have some fun. While the new M3, I think, sets the standard for outright grip and traction in all conditions for a rear-wheel drive car, this car is not far behind at all. And I think when you add the composure it has with those magnetic dampers, it's a really easy car to drive and drive quickly.
One thing I was really surprised by was how engaging this car was to drive despite being really heavy and an automatic. It had great steering feel. The steering was really accurate and not artificially heavy. The front end grip was really strong with 255 section wide tires in the front, and the rear end was playful, but the E-diff did a great job of putting power down in all the conditions I experienced. The CT4V Blackwing is powered by a direct injection 3.6 liter V6, making 472 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. It's a very flexible engine, and there's not much turbo lag if you keep it above 2,500 or 3,000 RPM. And it sounds pretty good for a V6. One thing I'd like to note here is that it's almost fully behind the front axle, which gives the car great balance and contributes to how planted it feels. This car was painted in the custom dark emerald frost color, which is probably my favorite stock color, other than maybe the Porsche chalk colors. It's breathtaking. I love the character lines down the side of the car. It gives it that long, low, mean look, and from some angles, it even looks like a coupe. The only awkward angle is this rear 3/4 where the tail light juts into the rear quarter panel. It just looks weird to me. When you first get in the car, you realize the hood line's pretty low, which makes the car feel smaller. And you try to settle into the seat. Unfortunately, it doesn't go down as much as you'd like, especially if you're on the taller side. But the driving position's pretty good. It's sporty while still being comfortable. One interesting thing I saw is that you kind of sit next to the B-pillar, not in front of it. Something I noticed with the G80 M3 as well, but these seats were super supportive. I love the quilted leather, great bolsters on your back and on the seat cushion as well. And it has pass-throughs for harnesses if anybody's crazy enough to put harnesses in this car. This car was equipped with a technology package, which meant we had heads-up display, overlays your speed as well as speed limits, and in the sportier settings, you get your RPMs, which is pretty slick. So this car came with a natural tan leather interior, which really had a nice orangey tint to it. I thought it contrasted really well with the dark emerald frost paint, which got a lot of attention. Everybody thought it was a wrap, but one of the nicest stock paint schemes I think I've ever seen. This car came equipped with wireless Apple CarPlay. I found the menus pretty easy to navigate. Here we see how easy it is to set your V mode, your drive mode, customization, where you can change the steering feel, suspension, engine, and brake feel. This is brake by wire. There are also some preset modes you can access on the center console. That's where you find the audio controls, which I found a little awkward, but you get used to it. So we've got standard steering wheel mounted controls, as well as the V button, which allows you to activate the configurable mode. We've got a power tilt telescoping steering wheel, the dimmer controls for the dash, as well as the heads-up display and the parking brake on the left here. Overall, the interior is a nice place to be. I'd probably give it a B or a B+. No deal breakers there. What I will say though is rear seat space is minimal, pretty much for kids only, so if you do carry passengers frequently, this may not be the car for you. Last but not least, trunk space, not too bad. We've got 60/40 split folding rear seats for larger items, but this is definitely a usable trunk. sum it up, I've never felt so at home in a car so quickly. This thing was so easy to drive, the chassis was so communicative, and even though the engine wasn't the most charismatic, it was responsive and surprisingly a lot of fun to bang through all 10 gears. Then we talk about the design. Really eye-catching, people love to come up and talk to you about the car. And the more I drove it, the more I thought this might be a great car to own. So manual or automatic, if you can get your hands on one of these, buy it and don't look back. You won't regret it.